I really want to talk about NTE. And this game did a lot of things that I feel were really good for the gacha space itself, not just for the game, but for the competition in the gacha space. I think this is really important, and it's one of the best things for us as players, right? When gacha companies actually try to compete with the big leagues out there, making things better for the player. As of today, I've had really good experiences with the game. I don't think the game is bad at all. I think the game actually surprised me in the quality that I've seen for the core gameplay, for the animations, that kind of stuff. And I really just want to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly about the game and try to educate everybody here. Not educate, but try to show everybody what the game is about. And if you want to keep playing this game, what you think this game is going to be in the future. Should you invest in this game? Should you keep playing it? Should you support these guys? Just trying to get a good idea out there for, because like so many gacha games like this these days, right, that I feel like a lot of people just don't know what to keep with, what to play with. Maybe they're having like the same amount of fun with one game or the other, but they just don't know what to play because they only have so much time left, right? The first thing I really wanted to talk about is everything that the game is doing better when compared to the big four, when compared to the most prominent, I'm going to say Chinese gachas out there because they are the biggest gachas out there, right? The most prominent Chinese gacha games that are out there. And what it did right, what it did wrong, what it could do better, what we should support, that kind of stuff. So first of all, I think that the combat gameplay to me is always the most important thing because it's going to be the core gameplay. It's going to be what you're doing the most in the game, or at least in my opinion, it should be what you're doing the most in the game. And I believe that this game totally got right what it was trying to get right. From the get-go, the game seems to be way more casual. Instead of giving you a shit ton of combat-related content, like what ZZZ kind of does, the game really wants to give you a variety of content. It wants to give you a full plate, a full course of content. So the game is way more about having a lot of different types of content you can do every day than just the combat stuff. And a lot of other open world gachas do that, but I think the game is going for a little more casual of an audience that when they log into this game, they're not necessarily looking to do combat. Maybe they're looking to fish, maybe they're looking to do car races, maybe they're looking to upgrade their apartment and put some new shit in there, right? Maybe they're looking to, manage their store or whatever. Because the game has all these other things. Usually in other gachas like this, you can see these kinds of mini games in events, but here in NTE, these quote unquote mini games are just part of the core gameplay content that the game has to offer. So because it's trying to go for that more casual audience, the combat in this game is exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is a mix, like the hybrid child between what you see in Wuthering Waves and what you see in Genshin Impact. So Genshin Impact has a lot of problems, right? I've talked about this before. Like you usually only keep one character on the field. There's no parry, there's no perfect dodge, blah, blah, blah. Wuthering Waves has that, but it is a way more intricate type of combat system. There is a lot more, like you have to be really reactive in that. NTE was able to add all these things that Wuthering Waves added to Genshin Impact's combat system, like a parry, like the character changes where you do an intro attack and an outro attack, that kind of stuff. Special changes. And it was also able to make that system not as intimidating. So it was able to make that system a lot more new player friendly or casual friendly. So because they were going for this more casual type of audience, I believe that they did a really good job with the combat system, because to be honest with you, it feels better than Genshin Impact's in almost every single way, but it feels much easier to master than what we see in Wuthering Waves. The frame windows for perfect dodges seem really big. The frame windows for your parries are really easy to get. Like, you don't need to get the parry at the exact moment. Any moment where the circle's closing, you just switch a character in or use a skill and you parry. So much more easier, much more approachable by the casual audience that this game is going for. I think it's a really good combat system. Me personally, I much rather prefer Wuthering Waves or ZZZ, but I understand what they're going for, and I think this was the right direction to go to. So combat, I think it's fine. Much, much better than I thought what it was going to be, to be honest. All right, so that's it for combat system. The next thing I want to talk about that the game did really well is the animations. Like, I don't know if I'm going to play here a cutscene or some other in the video for you guys to watch, but it's more about the character expressions when they are talking to you in the story. The character expressions and the movement they have, the animations when you have a special cutscene. I feel that this game, just in the, you know, the NPC conversation moments that we see a lot in gacha games like these, I feel like it has much more better character expressions, character reactions. The voice acting is really good from what I've seen and all that shit. I feel like it has that on Genshin Impact, or even a lot of other Hoyoverse games. I think that it is on par with Wuthering Waves, maybe a little bit better as far as like just normal interactions go. And really, that's it. If I'm going to talk about the story and just be really quick and crude here, the story is really mid. It is not good at all, in my opinion. There's really nothing going on. I just did a mission, man, where I fucking helped the mascot character go out on a date with the girl he likes, man. There are parts of it that are obviously, you know, pretty funny. There are parts of it that look really cute, especially when Annalie's like doing all her trying to be the bad guy in the story and whatever. It's endearing. That's the word. It's endearing. But I really could not give less of a shit about what was happening in the story at that point. So the story is a big letdown, but honestly, man, if you're gonna ask me for an opinion, I don't think there's been a Chinese gacha that put out a story I actually liked, except maybe Penacony. I might be completely wrong because I've only played like 4 chapters. The story might ramp up and become really good later, right? But this, as of the first week of the game, this is what I've experienced, and this is just what I feel. Second round of bonus points to give NTE is that they actually have a purpose for multiplayer instead of basically having everything locked for multiplayer. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about that right now. The fact that you have heists, that you can do multiplayer, and there's a reason for you to do it, other than just joining your friend's world to, like, I guess, kill the monsters in it to, like, get the items for Ascension or whatever, is absolutely awesome. Again, it's another good part of this game where they see something that Hoyoverse is not doing very well, and they just jump on it and they make something that's fun and that makes sense. So heists are awesome. Again, another point towards just the core gameplay that this game is offering. So for about our gameplay, I think that's it. Like, as you guys know, and I've already talked about it, the game has a shit ton of content, right? It's an open world GTA anime. Like, it really is what it's kind of selling. And if you want a gacha game that you can just do a ton of shit, and I'm talking a ton of shit, man, this has a lot of content. Now, it might be actually something bad, like it is for me. The fact that you have so much shit to do and such a huge world to explore and all these like side content and, you know, different sorts of gameplay, that's really not for me, man. I play, you know, multiple gacha games, and I don't really like when I'm behind in some of them. So playing a game like this is just unfeasible for me right now. But having more content in the game for you to do, I don't think it's ever something bad. It's just something that's not for all the players. So I think props to the game for the amount of passion they put into it. You can really see it shine in the character expressions, in the animations, in all the content that the game has to offer. Now, let's talk about the thing that is the best about this game, and that is the gacha system. This is honestly the biggest reason why I think you should play this game or support it. It's what I was talking about. I really respect when gacha companies actually try to compete and actually try to make a difference in how their gacha systems are, because every gacha system, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, is shit. Every gacha system is extremely predatory no matter what. I don't give a shit. So we're comparing which one of these turd piles smells the less bad. But I am going to give it to them for the fact that they really tried to make a difference here. I have always said, ever since, you know, I started streaming, that these companies did not need a 50-50 system, especially Hoyoverse. There is no way in hell you would ever convince me that Hoyoverse games needed a 50-50 system to actually stay in operation, to just pay the bills. Absolutely not. It was the only reason why that system is there is because it was much better than whatever the fuck the Japanese gachas had to offer at the time that it came out. And then people just started buying it, and they never stopped. So why fix what isn't broken? First, with Arknights, we got a 120 that skipped the 50-50. That was good. This one is way better. Like, it's just objectively better than any of the big gachas that are out there right now, the modern gachas that are out there. It is a 90 pity with a 100% chance of getting the rate up character, or in this case, Nanalie, which is the limited rate up character. Let me just take a look at the drop rate itself. It is, yeah, and the drop rate is 1% or 0.99, which is also much better than all the Hoyoverse games and most modern gacha games. Most modern gacha games are going to be somewhere in between 0.6 to 0.8. This one is 1%, right? 0.99. Mongo Stardive, which we played a little bit before, that was 1%, also really good, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the best gacha system that's been out. Mongo Stardive also has a good one because it's also 100%. It's also a 90 pity if I'm not mistaken. Just try to compete with this one. But really great, like good on Studio Hara for doing this for the players, making something that is objectively better compared to Arknights. It's not something that you need a frickin' master thesis in mathematics or statistics to be able to like really understand, is this good, is this bad, like what is this? Great choice. So really easy, man. It does feel like you get as much, like, no, I understand that there's sometimes a fear here of like, okay, you know, there's no 50-50, but do they give out as much free currency as Hoyoverse does? And to be honest with you, I felt like it was about the same. I had to hit pity for Nanalie. In 1 week, I could get her. So just by playing the game, doing the shit, you know, free stuff. I did buy the weapon, but it was the weapon, right? Not the character. So really great, man. I think it's good. I do think they're actually competing, and I commend them a lot for actually competing. Someone in chat asked if there's a weapon banner. There is one. It's just not located over here. It's located in the mall. And it plays exactly like what you would expect from weapon banners in gacha games. It is, if I'm not mistaken, an 80 pity, so a 10 less pity than the character. It is also a 100%, just like what Weathering Waves did when that game came out. And it's the same bullshit. It's a weapon banner. If you want your character to be the best it can be, you're probably just going to go for the limited weapon too. Great system. So usually when I play gacha games, I look for 3 things. It is, first of all, the combat system. The core gameplay. If the core gameplay is fun to me, I will even overlook about some stupid gacha bullshit. Because if the game is fun enough and I'm just having fun every day playing the game, then I'll even be willing to swallow some toads, you know, and take some shit to the face because at least I'm having fun with the game. The second thing to me is the gacha system. The gacha system has to be trying. You at least need to be trying. If you're a much smaller game and you have like the same gacha, you know, rates and system as just Genshin, then fuck you, dude. So the gacha system is really important. And the third thing is character progression. I'm going to put everything here: character design, character animations, how fun a character is to play, and character progression itself. And when I say character progression, I mean how long does it take for you to max out a character, and does this game have fucking substats or not? You guys all know how much I hate substats. It's those 3 things in order. That is Soul CZN. Yes, Chaos Zero Nightmare is an excellent example of a game that I absolutely love the gameplay so much that I am willing to take shit to my face, you know, in gacha systems or in the way the character progression works, just because I have so much fun playing the game in the first place. So this game, besides the combat system, everything else, we already talked about the core gameplay the game has to offer. We already talked about the gacha system that it has, which is much better. And so now we're going to focus on the third thing that I was talking about, which is character progression. And in this game, character progression, to be honest with you, feels exactly like Weathering Waves. Except my understanding is that you don't need flowers. Like, I don't think you need flowers at the very least. But it does do one thing that I absolutely hate and I abhor, which is for you to level up your skills. Genshin Impact does this shit. For you to level up your skills, there are some items that you need to get, that the only way for you to get them, besides, you know, opening special material boxes or exchanging your monthly currency, the only way for you to get these is by hunting monsters on the overworld, man. Brother, I cannot begin to tell you how much I hate that. But it goes along with the fact that it's an open world, yada, 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 and the fact that I just hate exploring too much. A lot of people like this, so it might not be a deterrent for a lot of you guys. I'm just saying how it is. It is the exact same. You have your character leveling. You need to put your character to max level. There are bosses that you can beat to get these items over here. And then there's XP materials that you can farm. You have to farm for a weapon. I don't have the weapon for her right now, so let me show Nunnally. Here's the weapon. You've got to farm. Same shit you have. Some stuff you can farm just by spending stamina on, like, you know, nodes and shit like that. Other stuff you have to kill monsters for. Same shit. You got to level up your weapon. And here is the artifact system of the game. This is the thing I hate the most in any gacha game at any point at any time. I absolutely abhor, I absolutely hate the substat farm in these games. For the love of God, make me have to farm 3 or 4 weeks, but at least guarantee that at the end of that entire fucking month of farming things for one character, at least I get the substats that I want. So I hate this. I don't know. Well, I do know why it's in every gacha game. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know why it's not there. But I really, really wish it wasn't. I really, really wish other games did what DNA did. But unfortunately, this game has it. And to be 100% honest with you, it doesn't feel any worse or better than Hoyoverse games, than what you get in Wuthering Waves. Actually, I think Wuthering Waves is a little bit better. So my final considerations, man, about this game. I really like what they went for. I think they did a really good job at just competing, dude. And I think they were really, really passionate about what they put out here. I feel like you can see that there was a lot of work put into the game. Now, as for whether I'm gonna keep playing this game or not, like I talked to you guys before, the fact that it's open world really, really puts me away from it because of the amount of stuff that you have to do. And with the amount of games that I am playing right now, I feel like playing this game is unfeasible, and it's not for nothing, really. There's nothing wrong with it. The only thing I really didn't like in the game is the story, and of course the fact that it has substats, but everything has fucking substats. So yeah, and so it's more about how my life is right now and how many games I'm playing that I probably won't keep playing this than anything that's honestly wrong with the game itself. But props to Studio Hara. I think they got something really good going on here. You can see by the fact that so many people want to try Ananta out after this, got them hyped up for it. And I actually think that means something good of this game because of that. But I do suggest everybody to try it. I still want to play all the way to endgame to give you a better opinion about how progression is at endgame and how the endgame treats the characters that you're using. But besides that, yeah, we're probably not going to keep this one. But it is a game that I would suggest people to try out, and I think it is a game that a lot of people are going to make it their main. Now, the last thing before we finish is let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, which is the fact that there's been a huge controversy on this game about it using generative AI and, you know, stealing some assets and that kind of stuff. And the first thing I want to say here is that me personally, I don't like generative AI in works of creation, in things like video games and that kind of stuff. I don't think it's good for the industry, and I don't think it's good for the game to have that kind of stuff in it. However, what I want to say here is that we need to be a little bit more realistic about what is going on in the industry right now and what the impacts of AI are. And all I'm going to say here is that if you're going to take a stance that you will never play any game that has any sort of generative AI, like any sort of it, then I really believe that like a year or two from now, you're probably not going to be playing anything. And that's a huge problem in my book. And I respect anybody that actually wants to stay true to that value, right? They just don't want to partake with these kinds of things. I totally respect you, but putting your money where your mouth is a year from now is going to be much, much harder than what it is right now. Because I really feel like every single game company that is going to be relatively big, that is going to be putting relatively big titles out there, they're going to be using some sort of AI. And I don't think there's any way we can escape from that. Another thing too is that I feel like a lot of fans of this game especially, I would say, especially in the Asian market, which is their biggest market, they probably don't give a single fuck. So if the bigger fans that are playing the game and giving them money don't really care, then nothing's really going to happen, no matter what anybody does. That's my out view on it. For NTE in itself, I feel like the generative AI that they have been accused of using wasn't really being used to substitute actual artists, developers, and modelers in the game. I don't think it was been used for that. So I don't see a big deal, man. I totally understand if people do, right? And I respect that. But me personally, I don't. That's just my 2 cents on that. But as it is, that's it, man. Hope you guys liked it. I hope this helped out at least somebody into understanding what this game is about, what to expect when you're going to play this game, and what it kind of looks like when compared to the other big gachas out there. Probably not for me. It is a good game, but probably not a game that I can continue playing on my current status, playing a shit ton of other gacha games. But it was a good time, man. I had a good time with it up to this first week. We'll see. I'll definitely play the game all the way up to endgame and during the first 6 weeks at the very least, and give like a quick review after that, which is like the review after the honeymoon phase, right? So thank you very much if you're watching this on YouTube. Please leave your comments down below about what you think of NTE. If you think I'm wrong about substats, if you need substats, dude, I don't get that at all, man. I swear to God, I don't get how people like that shit. It is the most boring shit to me that I've ever seen in my life, and it makes me quit so many games, dude. But anyways, thank you guys for coming, man. I really appreciate it. Please, if you liked the video, if this helped you out somehow, if you enjoyed me talking shit, please leave a like and subscribe, man. It really helps the channel grow. So, yeah, it's been your boy, Ktsu. We out.